Very good evening and welcome back to the other live session of CIT NCERT. I'm Shilpa. You all must have heard of several open source software tools for video conferencing like Apache Open Meetings, Big Blue Button, WebHurdle and Jitsi and several others. But today particularly we will talk about Jitsi. We will understand Jitsi meticulously with the help of our expert Dr. Felix Bast, Associate Professor and Science Writer, Central University of Punjab. I welcome you, Dr. Felix.
Thank you. Namaste all.
Before we proceed, I would like to inform my viewers, if you come across any questions related to our today's topic of discussion, then you can call on our toll-free numbers. Numbers are 1800 and 1800112199. Also, you can send your questions to our official email ID, which is cit.kishormunch@gmail.com. Moreover, you can comment your question during our YouTube live streaming, which is happening now. So you can comment your questions, and our official YouTube channel is NCERT Official. Dr. Felix, do tell us what all are you going to be teaching us today? And concerning that, if you have any presentation, you can proceed with that too. And in the end of the session, I'll be taking up questions the viewers want to ask you.
All right. So today I will be introducing the Jitsi and why it's an open source software and why an open source software is more ethical choice rather than paid software like Zoom. And I will also say it's very popular. The Zoom is very popular these days, and why should you switch to open source software like Jitsi? And what are the security as well as safety problems with Zoom as well as other alternatives? And then I will also take you to the Jitsi, and I will show you. I will introduce you, and I will also teach you how to use Jitsi. So by the end of this 1 hour, I hope we can manage the Jitsi very well. That's what I hope for.
Okay. So, shall we proceed, Dr. Felix?
Definitely, you can. Yes. We'll start the talk. Yes. All right. So, welcome you all first. So Jitsi is nothing but it's an open source software for the video conferencing. So I invite you for the next 1 hour what this Jitsi is all about and why we have to switch to open source software. Well, by the way, my name is Felix and I'm a associate professor from Central University of Punjab, and I'm also a member of Indian National Young Academy of Sciences, INSA. So to start with, about the video conferencing, the video conferencing, as you know, it's all about the interacting with a large number of people through video as well as audio, like, the one which we are doing right now, right? So many people are streaming to YouTube. So we are also used for the online teaching. Many of the viewers, I suppose, are the teachers. So you would like to interact with the students on a regular basis and students on the peer group discussions with other students as well. So you might definitely be looking for a video conferencing tool. So, it is basically the relevance of these tools have skyrocketed, friends, at the times of pandemics like this. We are now going through, an extraordinary situation in the history of the world itself, So we are all, of course, the quarantine time, we are all locked up and we are homebound and, we are working. If people like me, of course, I'm doing my work through the video conferencing solution. So I have to teach, or if you're an office goer, you will have to interact with other office people all through video conferencing. So the video conferencing has skyrocketed at this time. So of course there are many options for the video conferencing. One example could be the Skype old solution, or the Line or Telegram, or even the Google Meet or Google Hangout or Microsoft Teams, as well as the Zoom. Which is if I ask you a question, which is the best video conferencing tool, by the way, many people might say it's Zoom, because it's super popular and everybody is using Zoom these days. So, what's wrong with Zoom? See, the biggest issue with the Zoom is the privacy, because as you know, the Zoom stores the contents. You will never know how they're going to use it, and this kind of storing the digital content is called digital hoarding. The term is called digital hoarding, which they can sell it for the third party as well. Because if you look at the terms and conditions of the Zoom when you install, so the digital hoarding is not really clear. So definitely they might misuse your data as well. So the privacy is the biggest concern with the Zoom. Another major issue is with the security. Zoom has several security exploits. These are called the loopholes, right? So the most infamous one is called zero-day vulnerability. So basically, zero-day vulnerability let the hackers to hack into the Zoom, the servers,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Okay.
can do anything with the meeting. Another issue is something called Zoom bombing. So where an intruder broadcasts obscene content to the audience. For example, if you're making a huge webinar, thousands of participants like this, NCERT is doing a wonderful job.
Hmm.
So if an intruder comes in and starts saying, relaying or broadcasting some obscene content, so everybody will be embarrassed, right? So that is something called the Zoom bombing. So that has been reported many places. Even with the elementary school students, somebody actually obscene contents have been relayed in the US. So these are the genuine reasons why the Zoom is not recommended these days at all. So as you know, many of the governments have already been banned the Zoom in their own countries as well as recommended the users against the Zoom. For example, as you can see, Taiwan as well as Canada has been banned the Zoom for the government video conferencing. If you're a government worker in Canada or the Taiwan, you cannot use it. So as the German content and NASA in the US, the Space Administration, and also the US Senate has banned Zoom for their employers as well. So as the German government and the German government has already told their employers do not use the Zoom, and even our own government friends, our Ministry of Home Affairs have recently made a circular that is dated April 12th. It's an advisory against the Zoom for using in the meetings as well as trainings, etc. So the advisory clearly says that Zoom has several security vulnerability and several precautions needs to be taken. Though the Zoom is not banned in India per se, but still the circular clearly says it highlights the security as well as safety issues of the Zoom. So it's a high time that we have to switch from Zoom to some other solutions.
Okay.
So as you can see here on the screen, hackers are actually selling the Zoom exploits like zero-day vulnerability to the dark web up to $30,000. You see, that is one of the report that has been published in Business Line in Hindu. And the other the report, this is what I was telling you about. It is in Idaho in the US. So hacked Zoom meeting exposes 50 elementary school students to the pornography. So obscene contents have been relayed while the meeting in the Zoom. So as I told you, if you remember, the term is called Zoom bombing.
Zoom bombing.
So this kind of things, yes, Zoom bombing. So it's highly embarrassing. So definitely this kind of reports are coming up. If you look at the internet, Scandinavia is reporting as well as in the Europe, as well as down south in the African continent have also been reporting this kind of incidents. So it's not at all safe. So by the way, there are several restrictions on the Zoom as well. Of course, Zoom is a paid software. So paid software release a free version, for testing out, right? And ultimately their main aim is to buy their software. It's basically a paid software, right? So what are the restrictions of the Zoom free software? Zoom has the main limit that maximum only 100 participants can participate in any meeting. And if you are planning a kind of a bigger conference, for example, of course, video conferencing is all about conferencing as many people as possible, isn't it? So if you are having a webinar of 500 people or 1,000 people, definitely Zoom cannot support it. And of course, there is a way out. If you want, for example, host a big webinar with a modest 500 participants, you will have to shell out $20. That is approximately 1,500 rupees per month. So it is not that cheap. Of course, if you have the resource, you can get a Zoom business solution. That is called Zoom business, and that is monthly payment, right? But still, the biggest problem is not the money. Even if you have money, the Zoom has a big problem with safety as well as security. These two problems are, commanding. So the biggest disadvantage is that the Zoom is now massively popular and severely limiting the server bandwidth, friends. So the quality is getting worse day by day. By the way, the Zoom has recently admitted that they're routing their data through China. Every data that you send through the Zoom is going through the China. So of course, the privacy is a big concern, as well as the speed is now severely constrained because everybody is using Zoom, right?
Right.
So that is the main problem with the Zoom. So what are the other options? Of course, it's better to switch. So what are the other options? So one of the best options is Google Meet. So earlier Google Meet is basically, it's nothing but the Google Hangout. Now it has come out with Google has come out with a solution called Google Meet. So it supports 100 participants. Again, there is a severe restriction if you are planning to have a conference, video conference. And again, another big problem with the Google Meet is that there is no finer control. Like for example, ability to mute the participants or record the video. You cannot, you cannot stream the video to the YouTube. Like this webinar, many thousands are seeing, right? Even through the DD. I'm very happy about it. So that kind of streaming to the YouTube is not possible if you're doing, with the Google Meet. So another option is Microsoft Teams. Of course, it supports only 100 participants, and of course, you need to have Office 365 subscription. So it is not that cheap. You will have to get the subscription to use the Google Microsoft Teams. So again, the restriction is same, 100 participants. So that's not a viable solution. So another option, probably you might have heard of this. This is called Namaste. Namaste is, pitted as the indigenous made in India solution. Of course, it's made in India, but it's a nascent stage. It's a beta application. The stable version is not yet out. It's very basic. And right now, the Namaste supports just 25 participants, friends. So if you're planning for even a modest conference like 50 participants in Namaste, you cannot use it. Biggest problem with Namaste is that it's a private company. So of course there is no guarantee against data privacy or data hoarding, just like the Zoom. How can you trust a private firm? So that is a big problem with the Namaste. And most of the time Namaste server is also down, rendering it totally ineffective. I have tried Namaste many times, so the server is down. So that message is coming up. Another thing is that you might think, okay, Namaste is like Arogya Setu app of the government of India. No, Namaste is a private. It's not really a government app. This is a fake news being circulated in many of the media that the Bharatiya Sarkar. This is a solution from the government of India. That is not right. So this Namaste app is a private app that many people do not know. That is the fact. So don't trust this fake news. So I have extensively talked about the fake news and the problems earlier, also in my YouTube channel. So now this is a new contest that has been come out only a few days back. This is from the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, and the ministry has invited applications for mobile-based cloud video conferencing competition. So if you're a coder, I encourage you to apply for this program of the MHRD. So it's a wonderful program to develop your own video conferencing solution. So if you are a coder, that means if you're a program developer, you can develop an app. And there is a remuneration as well, and also there is an incubation inside the IIT. You can be there in the IIT for a few months to come out with a better the product. So it's a wonderful initiative from our MHRD ministry. So here comes the Jitsi, my recommendation, friends. So have you ever heard this Jitsi? Some of you might have heard, but majority of them, like in India, majority of not using Jitsi. That is a fact. So it's a gem. I tell you, Jitsi is really a gem. So what is Jitsi? Jitsi is basically an open source software, friends. So open source means that the code is open. Anybody with expertise in coding, that is computer programming, you can improve the Jitsi how it is. Right now, that doesn't mean that Jitsi is not well. It's perfect. It's much better than all the trainer softwares as well. So this is a very good software. But if you know coding, you can further improve it. And the code is open. That is what one of the hallmark of the open source software. And if you're a programmer, you can make Jitsi even better. And many Indian volunteer programmers have contributed in the development of Jitsi. I'm also involved with Jitsi development. So Jitsi, around 500 people are there voluntarily contributing to the development of the Jitsi. So Jitsi is, in a way, it is a made in India software too. It's not that it's a foreign software. Jitsi, many people are being contributing to for the development of it. So of course, Jitsi is completely free, and Jitsi is not going to ask you any money. It's just any other open source software like Linux. It's not for the money-minded. It's basically mortal or egalitarian mindset is what the open source software domain is all about. So open source software is an ethical choice as well, friends, because no money is involved and it's free for all. Of course, altruism, right? Free for all. And community sharing and improvement. So it is basically, a contentment as part of the involving part of the benefit of the whole community, not just for your personal interest, right? And of course, it's part of the access to knowledge movement. So access to knowledge means the knowledge should be free and accessible to everybody without asking for money, So that moment, so just like open, publication, open access publications to part of the open access to knowledge movement. So by the way, of course, I'm a huge fan of open source software. So for example, instead of Photoshop, you might have heard the software called GIMP. It's completely free. All these open source softwares are completely free. I just want to mention a few. So instead of Adobe Illustrator, I use a software called Inkscape, completely free and so much good. It's almost same as an Illustrator, or GIMP is almost as good as a Photoshop. So there is no point in buying an expensive software or getting the the illegal version. Why? Be moral and go with the open source softwares. Or OBS Studio for instead of going for a Camtasia for screen recording, or DaVinci Resolve I use instead of going for a FCP, that is a Final Cut Pro, or Adobe Premiere for movie editing. Or instead of Edge, I go with the Firefox browser. Or instead of Apple, the Macintosh or Windows, I go with Linux. So all these are ethical choices, friends. So Jitsi has no limits. That is the biggest advantage of the Jitsi. Whatsoever it is, absolutely no limits. So no limits about the time of recording. That means you can host a big webinar with thousands of participants and you can record as long as you can. For example, 24 hours you can go with. There is no problem at all, and it's totally free. You really don't need any account. That's another big advantage. Otherwise, Zoom and all, you need to have an account to host a webinar, right? So Jitsi is just on the go. Or Google Meet, of course, you need to have a Google account. So no, or Microsoft Teams also need a Microsoft account. You really don't anything for the Jitsi. So there is no need to install any software as well. For example, for the Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet, software to be installed into your computer, right? Jitsi don't need any kind of software on your computer. But of course, you can just go to the Jitsi website in a standard browser like Firefox, and that's it. You can just create a new meeting and you can join an existing meeting just with the browser. So by the way, if you want to participate in a video conferencing via mobile phone, I'm saying about the computer earlier, but if you have only a mobile phone, if you want to join it, then you would need to install a lightweight and highly rated app called Jitsi Meet. It's a free, of course, and it's a very lightweight. You need to install that onto your Android or iPhone, the smartphones. Again, no need of creating any accounts. So that is, it's very good option. Another big advantage of the Jitsi is that you can force mute all the participants if you don't like some people in your conference. So you can simply force mute all the participants. So that feature is very good. So if you're hosting a big webinar, this feature comes very handy for us. So even there's an option to throw out some participant. For example, those problem creators, the intruders, you can simply kick them out. So by clicking the icon, so that the feature is very nice. And participants can also click an icon called raise their hand. I like this feature very much. So for example, if you have 1,000 of people in your webinar and one person has a question, so the person can simply raise their hand, or tens of people have got they can raise their hands. Just click an icon. It's not that physically you are raising your hands. No? So raise the hand, there is an icon. If you click it, then you're grabbing the attention of the speaker. So for example, if they need to ask a question, and then the speaker can decide to entertain their question or not. So it is up to the speaker to entertain or not. So that feature is amazing, and only in Jitsi I have seen this feature so far. So Jitsi even allows you to stream the entire video conferencing to the YouTube live streaming. That is an amazing feature that other softwares like this Google Meet, for example, don't have it. Google Meet, you can stream to the Hangout. There is a workway, but still it's not the YouTube. So right now many of you are watching for YouTube. So that kind of streaming option is possible in the Zoom and also in the Jitsi. So that is a very big advantage with the Jitsi. So of course you can record the whole program for archival, something Zoom cannot do. You can record all these talks as well. So Jitsi also allows you to share the screen, for example, to make a PowerPoint presentation, like just now how I am presenting, the PowerPoint presentation, right? So Jitsi, you can do it. So that is why Jitsi is really good if you want to conduct a webinar, or if you want to do a classroom teaching with a Microsoft PowerPoint, or whatever the PowerPoint software, the open resource softwares, for example, OpenOffice that you would like to use. So the Jitsi is a very good alternative. So Jitsi also use the end-to-end digital encryption. So there is a big advantage of the Jitsi is that there is the encryption end-to-end. So that means that the third party cannot access your data when you're in the video conferencing. So it's highly secure. So it's very good if you want to move some security demanding files between the participant. For example, if see, I'm a professor in the university, so I have a lot of research going on. So if I don't want to leak the contents of my research, so encryption is what I wanted. So that can, or if you're into entrepreneur and if you're developing a new software, for example, or a new product, you don't want to leak the product information to a third party, or if you're a drug developer, all these encryption matters a lot. So Jitsi supports end-to-end encryption. So there is a big advantage of the Jitsi, so it's highly secure as well.
Okay.
So if you're like me and you also use something called the Slack. So Slack is something called something like a workplace communication tool. So it enables you to communicate with your coworkers. Something like WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is highly distracting, and Slack has final control. And the Jitsi perfectly integrates within the Slack. So that's a big advantage with the Jitsi. So now let us see how to use the Jitsi. So you see, it's very easy, friends. I will show you how to use the Jitsi. Okay, so bear with me. I will show you how to use the Jitsi.
Use Jitsi. It's super easy. Come with me. I will show you how. So first let's go to the Jitsi website. It's jitsi.org. So as you can see in this website, you will see that Jitsi has this end-to-end encryption, which is really a strong attribute of this site as well as the software. And of course, this is security and privacy oriented, which is in stark contrast with the Zoom and other software. So this is why I prefer the Jitsi, which is open source as well as it's totally free. So all you have to do is that just click here, see it in action to start a meeting. So if you want to start a meeting, all you have to do is just name anything. So for example, I'm just naming it as Jitsi test. So you can just put any name, and I click here, go. So as you can see, there are several controls here. So this is to end the meeting, to leave it, this is to mute and unmute, and this is for to stop or start the camera. Other options are to raise your hand to grab attention of the speaker. You just have to click here, raise your hand, then the speaker will be notified. And this is to share your screen. For example, I click here, a specific tab inside the Chrome browser that you can choose it. So usually I use this entire screen option, and then I open my PowerPoint presentation to share my presentation invite link. So to add more people, all you have to do is to copy this link and then send that copied clipboard cache into any of your friends. You can add a password so that the people, even with this link, they need to add a password to enter into my room. For other options, all you have to do is to click this more actions menu. So you can manage your video quality, you can go to the full screen, you can start live stream. This is what I told you about the YouTube integration. You can start recording if you want to save directly into the Dropbox. Share a YouTube video inside my meeting. I can blur my background and other settings, mute everybody, speaker statistics, and shortcuts. So all these are different things. So for example, if you want to start a live stream, click on this live stream and enter this YouTube live stream key here. So you need to put your key, or you can sign into your Google so that the key will be automatically stretched. So I'm canceling it right now. Other options includes record directly into your Dropbox. As you can see that, upload into the Dropbox. So all this file will be directly into the linked Dropbox account. So if I click here the settings, further settings, you can go and check it out. So what camera I use, which microphone, audio input. If you have any trouble, you would need to change the camera. If you have 2 or 3 different cameras or microphone, you would need to change it. You can put a profile name as well as your ID, email ID, and you can also put your calendar. I have already linked up the calendar with my Google Cal. And other more actions include everyone starts muted. This is my moderator option. So when the conference starts, I usually click this option, the everyone starts muted. All these are different options for a moderator to fine tune this meeting. If you hover your mouse over any of these participants, you can see that the signal strength of that participant. So this is perfectly fine. If you really feel that the person is having a very low bandwidth or low internet speed, then you can just go and check it out. You can identify the problem. And because I raised my hand, you can see that the hand has already been raised. So the moderator can see that this participant has got a question. Jitsi also has a very good Chrome extension that is available in the Chrome web store if you use the Chrome browser. Also, they also have an extension for the Firefox browser. So go to the Chrome web store to install the Jitsi meetings extension that has already been linked up in my video, and click here to install it. As I already have it, it's asking me to remove from the Chrome, but if you haven't installed, you'll be presented an option to install it first. So once you install it, you will get an option here, the Jitsi option, create Jitsi meetings. So I can schedule a meeting through this Jitsi add-in of the Chrome. So for example, to create a Google Calendar meeting, as you can see, this page to create a scheduled meeting will be presented. All I have to do is to add a title, and I just have to put the exact timing, for example, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, or I can schedule in the end of this month, 30th of April, and exact time I can specify from 10 a.m. All this just like any other event scheduling through the Google Cal. I can add the guests here, add the guests, so I just have to type the email addresses. So to join an existing room, all you have to do is to go to the Jitsi site, meet.jit.si, and add the meeting ID, and then I click here, go.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you can start your presentation.
Hello everyone, I'm Digvijay and this is a presentation by me. The title of the presentation is Molecular Identification and Assessment of Anti-Cancer Potential of Vulvar Species, under which my objectives are identification of vulvar species based on morphological and molecular characteristics, of different extracts using these vulva species we have collected, and compare its in vitro anti-cancer activities, and then to identify different metabolites by preliminary phytochemical tests. So first we will start with a little bit of introduction. As we all know that cancer is a global health issue, and totally 13% of deaths, that is 7.6 million people die due to cancers. To search and to explore these new drugs. 60% of the approved drugs are pre-NDA or either NP, they are related. These all drugs are excluding vaccines or monoclonal antibodies. Okay, so the terrestrial plants and microbes are well explored than marine sources, and from last 40 years, natural products have been helping us in combating cancer. Most of the sources are.
So first step is to go to the Play Store and search for an app called Jitsi Meet. And you will have to install this Jitsi Meet. Because in my phone it's already installed, let me open it. Otherwise you would need to install this Jitsi Meet app. I'm opening this Jitsi Meet. Then I would need to enter a room number. So my room number is that there is a test room which my friend has created to test it. So let me add this room identifier. So the identifier of this room is TESTDJ. So this is the room identifier number, and then I'm clicking here create or join.
To search and to explore these new drugs. 60% of the approved drugs are. Natural products have been helping us in combating cancer. Most of the sources are pre-NDA or either NP, well explored than marine sources.
hope this video.
So I hope you enjoyed that short presentation, right? So if you have any questions, so please ask me. So this is what I would like to share about the Jitsi. So
viewers are asking so many questions, Dr. Felix.
Yeah,
so
we
I'll
can
start with the first question.
Yes.
The question has been asked is Jitsi have Jitsi Video Bridge and Jitsi Meet. So what's the difference? Please explain.
Come again. The first thing is
Jitsi Video Bridge and Jitsi Meet.
So Jitsi Meet is a software that you would like to use for meetings. So the Jitsi Video Bridge is more technical, you know. So that is for actually for the developers to test out the Jitsi Meet. So the Jitsi Meet is actually released for the public. So you should better use. What you want to use is Jitsi Meet, not the Jitsi Video Bridge.
Jitsi Video Bridge, right? The second question has been asked by Miss Yogita, and she's saying sometimes back you just talked about that Jitsi doesn't need to create account of a particular person. That means anyone could be anyone. That means Jitsi support anonymity, which is again a terror.
In one sense, yeah. So basically, you know, if you create one webinar, for example, or a video conferencing, so you are not sharing the link to everybody, right? So only those people who are registering, you are going to share that link. So only those people having the link can access it. And another thing is that number 2 is that the Jitsi, you can password protect. You know, it is not that simply anybody can come with a link on. So it should have a password, and that you can share only with those people who register for your account. So all those things are safety features of the Jitsi. So of course you really don't need to create an account. Indeed, there is no account with Jitsi. There is no option to create an account with the Jitsi, unlike Google or Microsoft. You know? And the Jitsi Meet is a sort of, for the earlier question, whoever has asked the question. So Jitsi Meet is an app only if you are using your mobile phone. Otherwise, you really don't need an app also. You know, Jitsi Bridge or nothing is required. Just you need a web browser. So that will suffice everything.
Okay. The another question has been asked by several viewers. They are asking, Jitsi Meet is a fully encrypted, 100% open source video conferencing solution. So what does encryption means here?
Okay, so encryption means that, you know, it is basically the third party cannot see what is going on here. You know, so basically the things that is being relayed, for example, I'm talking to you now, right? So that my voice is now being relayed through the, you know, the telecommunication network. So in between this, somebody cannot steal your data. That is what the encryption is all about. If it's open, right? If it's non-encrypted, the third party can simply steal, hack your data, right? So that kind of a third party hacking the data is not possible because it is an encrypted software, you know. So this encryption is very important if you are doing some IP related things. You know, for example, as earlier I explained to you, that if your team is working towards developing a new remedy, for example, for the COVID-19, and you don't want to leak that remedy to a third party, you know, so in that case, the encryption is extremely important. So Jitsi support that encryption.
Okay. The another question has been asked by several viewers again. Is it secure?
Jitsi is the most secure. So among the many options, so Jitsi has got the encryption done. So end-to-end encryption is, again, there is a hallmark character of the Jitsi. It's not being provided by every thing, you know. Of course, Zoom do say that they do have an encryption, but as you know, many reports are coming. Zoom bombing and the data hoarding, those terms I already introduced you.
Yes.
So Zoom has several security vulnerabilities, especially something called zero-day vulnerability. If you're a coder, probably you're aware of what this zero-day vulnerability is all about. Anybody can hack the source code, you know. So because Jitsi is an open source software, there's nothing, Jitsi is hiding nothing. Anybody can work with the Jitsi. So that is the beauty of it. It has got a very strong security feature as well, unlike you know, the other the private ventures. So the encryption and the security and safety oriented video conferencing solution is what this Jitsi is all about.
Okay. Another question has been asked by Ms. Jyoti Tiwari, and she's saying, do we need email IDs of the participants to invite them or to schedule a meeting?
No, in Jitsi, you really don't need anything. All you need is that once, just go to that web browser, as you have seen just now, you know, how to schedule a meeting in the Jitsi. Just go to meet.jitsi.org and then you simply put your meet room, whatever the room name. So whatever name that you like, you can just put, and if the room is not taken, then the room is for you. So then you simply copy that invite link and then send that invite link to whoever you would like to invite. So you really don't need to have email address also. The host also don't need, and even the viewers also need not have an email address, you know. So it's really interesting. It's very convenient way to have a video conferencing. It's very good. The only issue is that Jitsi, not many people are aware of it. Even though many coders from India, we are actually behind the developing the Jitsi to make it accessible. You know, it's in one sense, Jitsi is a made in India software, but still people are crazily looking after alternatives. You know, and because of people are not aware of the existence of the Jitsi.
Okay. This is the question, Dr. Felix, has been asked by like several people. They are saying, is Jitsi only a video conferencing application, or we can also use it for online classes? Please guide.
Okay, so Jitsi is basically a video conferencing. It's a video conferencing, but of course you can use it for the teaching as well. I'm using Jitsi for, for conducting my own classes for the PhD students as well as for the master student. I'm a teacher basically, you see, in the university. So Jitsi, through Jitsi, you can give any class, especially if you use a PowerPoint presentations, you can screen share it, you see. So you can screen share it and then you can conduct a class perfectly. And definitely it doesn't have it's not really a online teaching solution like Google Classroom. See, the classroom is, the audience is something else. Classroom is only for the teaching. So of course the classroom do not support this one-to-one interactions like what we are doing it here. So if you have a big class, for example, 200 people's class, so how can you do that with the Google Classroom? You cannot do it. So Jitsi is mainly for giving the class, giving the lectures. So you can use your, the whiteboard, and you can teach to your students, or you can use your PowerPoint presentations and interact, give a screen shared, the presentation. So Jitsi is perfect for the teaching. You know, the transaction mode, that is what the educators say, right? The transaction mode, the teacher to student mode, that facilitates the Jitsi. But if you really want some other final control, for example, if you want a quiz, if you want to conduct a quiz or test, or if you want to submit your assignment from the students, so that kind of features Jitsi don't have. So for that, you can use some other software for that, or you can do like what I do. So I have a workaround that is something called Google Sites, and I use the Dropbox as a, so there is a feature called file requests in Dropbox. So people can submit their files to the Dropbox. And if you're interested, so I'm sure many of the viewers are teachers. So if you would like to conduct a test, for example, a surprise test or graded quiz, for example, Google has a very good solution for it. It's called Google Forms. And many of the teachers are not aware of it. It's a free solution. And even Google Forms has got embedded the grading. Each question can have differential grading as well. And once the students turn in, that is submitted, it will directly go to an Excel sheet. So it's really convenient.
Okay. And related to this only, the question has been asked by Miss Radhika and Miss Maheshwari, and they are asking, during our online classes using Jitsi, can they assess or evaluate students?
Yes, so this is the same thing I was telling you. So this one is only, the Jitsi is mainly for, teacher to student delivery, the content delivery or transaction mode, the direct transaction mode. So for lectures, Jitsi is good, but not really for any other classroom. For example, as I just told you, to turn into your assignment, for example, put a deadline for an assignment, turn into the assignment, or share the other stuff through, or evaluate, or to conduct a class test, for example. Jitsi don't have any of those options, but still Jitsi is much more preferable because of the safety and security features. And for the quiz and other graded assignments, as I told you, Google Form is a wonderful option, and Dropbox is a good solution if you want to turn in your assignment instead of simply sending you the email. Earlier days we used to get like that. If you have like 100 students, so everybody will send you the email, their assignment, a term paper or essays, right? And each of these email you will have to download and check the plagiarism separately. That is not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is that I have a Dropbox account, and I have something called Dropbox file request, and I ask my students to click on that link and put all those files there. So the moment they put their files into the Dropbox file request, so So I'm going to get all these files in a properly arranged folder in my PC, you know. So in that folder, all I have to do is that simply drag the folder and drop it in Grammarly or turn it in to see the plagiarism checking report, you know. So I save a ton of my time by all these tools and tactics instead of simply going with the common sense solution. But these are existing. Only the thing is that we teachers are not making use of these tools. All these are freely available. Dropbox is also free. Google Form is also free. So if you want to learn more about those things, so please subscribe me my channel. I do have a education channel in the YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel, and of course you can see those the workarounds from the teachers especially. Yes.
Okay. And another question has been asked by, again, several viewers, like Deepa Bist has asked, can we screen record the session, any session, and simultaneously can we live stream it using Jitsi? And can we embed the link on website?
Yes, that is exactly what I told you about. So screen recording or screencasting is possible in the Jitsi. So all you have to do is that once you are in Jitsi, click on the presentation mode or screencasting mode. So just one click, present your screen. So over there, you can present whatever you like to present to your viewers. You know, for example, you have the PowerPoint presentation or OpenOffice presentations, you know, for example. Or if you want to present a video, a YouTube video or whatever the video that you have, or if you're a software developer, or if you are a teacher of, for example, if you are teaching gym, as I just told you, it's a very good open access, open source and alternative to Photoshop. So if you're training your viewers on how to use gym, for example, you can just screencast and I can do the gym training and the students will see how I am doing and they can replicate with their computers, you see. So screencasting is possible in the Jitsi, and plus there is a YouTube embedding, you know. So for that you will have to go to the YouTube live stream, and live stream will have an ID, you know. So there will be a digits of ID. So that is basically a secret ID, you see. So that secret ID you will have to paste inside the Jitsi. If you don't know how to do that, please subscribe to my channel and see it. I have posted several of these videos on Jitsi in my YouTube. Many are coming out. So I'll be detailing all these things later. So embedding is possible, screen recording is possible, and also of course the channel you can embed inside a website. For example, if you have a website, the YouTube live stream, you can embed it so that viewers of your website can see what is going on with the Jitsi.
Okay. So Dr. Felix, another question has been asked by Miss Suhela, and she's asking, can a teacher perform discussion with his students by using Jitsi, or is it only one mode of communication?
Yes. So, you know, this software like YouTube, YouTube has got live stream. That is only one way. So the two-way fostering that kind of interaction is not possible in the YouTube, right? So only that students can type their question. But Jitsi is not like that. Jitsi is a full-fledged video conferencing tool. Even you have like 1,000 participants or 10,000 participants, no problem. So all you're going to get is that the participants will be coming on the side. You can tweak, you can actually do that, like just like a Windows Explorer window. You know, you can actually the thumbnail and everything. You can change the window size, and the students can show their face, of course, and they can speak. It's basically a totally two-way interaction. And while the two-way interaction, especially if you're having a big conference of 1,000 people, for example. Many people might interrupt, right? So that is why the Jitsi has finer tuning. You know, you can mute everybody and you can unmute selected few. And if the moderator mutes everybody, then people cannot ask their questions, right? So if you want to ask some question, there is a button there called raise your hand. So if you click on the hand icon, so basically it's kind of a raising your hand to grab the attention of the speaker. And then the speaker can unmute and entertain your questions. So directly you can have a one-to-one interaction with the person. Everybody can see too. So Jitsi is a wonderful two-way interaction platform for that. So unless it is two-way interaction, it's like just a one-way, it is just a preaching, a didactic monologue. It's not at all good in teaching. You see, it has to be a dialogue. So fostering dialogue is a very important aspect of the pedagogical research too. So yeah, it's basically a two-way. So it is not just one way.
Okay. So another question has been asked by Miss Meera. She's a teacher. She's saying she's conducting online classes concerning early childhood education, where she let students do doodling. So will Jitsi let us do something of that kind?
Oh no, the doodling or something like the whiteboard, that feature doesn't exist in the Jitsi. But of course, I can put up this one to the Jitsi community over the Reddit, and people, if you have any idea, friends, you can directly contact the Jitsi. This doodling is a wonderful idea. Whoever proposed that question, so it's a wonderful idea. So we are developing the Jitsi community team is basically the whole world. Those people who have a spirit, altruistic spirit, a voluntary spirit. It's basically a voluntary thing. So Jitsi is not going to pay anybody. All these developers are simple volunteers. It's a charity work, you see. So basically, if you put some interesting idea, they can develop it for you. So as of now, doodling is not supported, but still, if you're asking like a preschooler to doodle something, they can doodle on a piece of paper in front of their camera. So that kind of workaround, you can do that. Other thing is that you can ask the parents for screen sharing, and then you can use Paint, or Paint Dot is a very good open software for doodling, or Mindmap, or those things you can do separately, and you can simply share your screen. So there is a screen recording. You can do that. So that kind of intuitive workarounds are possible in Jitsi. Yes.
Yes. Dr. Felix, so you have explained or told us like several times how many participants the Jitsi can accommodate, but several viewers are asking again and again. So if you could just simply or briefly tell us how many participants Jitsi could accommodate.
So Jitsi really have no limits. It is unlimited. So it all depends upon your computer, basically. So basically the Jitsi is all about your computer. So how good your computer speed is. If you have a very good, computer, so-called workstation with a humongous power and a great RAM, for example, 58 GB RAM and big processor, if you have a good graphics card, then you can go with even 10,000 participants, no problem at all. So Jitsi really has no limits,
Okay.
So, but practical sense, of course, we don't have, many of us don't have that kind of software. By the way, that kind of server or a, that kind of a machine, huge machine, participants need not have, only the host need to have. So if I'm hosting a conference of 10,000 people, I need to have a workstation with a very good capacity, Otherwise, participants, of course, with just a small Android phone or an iPhone, you can just have it. So no problem. So the limit is all about the limit of your computer. So practically, I would say maximum 1,000, because most of us have got the i7 computer, right, at home. So if you want to have more than 1,000, then definitely you need to have a better workstation for that. So, and also a very good internet connection.
Another question, Dr. Felix, has been asked by Miss Archana Pandey. She's asking, can it be embedded in school LMS platform?
School MS?
LMS, Learning Management System platform.
Embedding of this, the Jitsi onto the LMS, I'm not really sure about it, but I can, of course, you can search out, you can contact the Jitsi team as well. But as you see, the Jitsi has a direct option for streaming to the YouTube. So if you can embed the YouTube live stream, for example, then Jitsi, why not? You can do that with the Jitsi as well. So Jitsi's output is all the YouTube stream, So wherever YouTube stream can be embedded, the LMS, I'm not sure which LMS platform that you're using. For example, if you're using Moodle, Moodle is also a good solution for the LMS. So if you're using that solution, of course, YouTube can be embedded inside the Moodle. So in that sense, Jitsi, you can use it to embed it as well.
Right. Can Jitsi be used both on mobile and on web?
Exactly. Mobile, you need to have a software called Jitsi Meet. And for the web, in the sense that PC or a Macintosh computer, if you have, or Linux computer, then Jitsi need not have any software. It's just that any browser will support. Just go to any browser and open your, the camera as well as the mobile phone, the microphone, and then start a meet. That's it. It's very simple, on the go. And yes, but if you have this the Jitsi Meet app onto your Android phone, it's okay to participate in the meet, but it will not allow you to screencast. So such finer controls are not there. So anyway, screencasting is, there is no point in a mobile phone, right? You need to have a big PowerPoint presentations, for which you definitely need to have a computer. Yes.
Okay. One last question, Dr. Felix, so we are done with the time. So the question is, can we integrate several applications while using Jitsi?
I'm not getting that question very well. What
Can
kind
we
of
integrate
application?
several applications? For example, let's say editing application. So many people are asking this. Can they integrate editing application while using Jitsi as a video conferencing platform?
So integrate different applications is not really understand that what is actually meant. So basically, applications. Of course, you can show that inside the Jitsi. Jitsi is basically a video conferencing tool, right? So during the video conferencing, whatever you want to do, for example, if you want to use another, thing like, for example, Node++, if you're a programmer. So if you want to show your code, the Node++ code to show to your thing, so all you have to do is simply share your screen, and whatever there on your computer will be screen shared to the participants. So that way, any kind of app can be integrated into the Jitsi. So it's need not be in the Word or whatever you like. So you can simply integrate that way. You can just simply share your screen.
By screen sharing, they can integrate, right?
Exactly.
They can demonstrate. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you so much, Dr. Felix. So today we very well understood about an open source software tool for video conferencing, that is Jitsi. I hope you all have understood. If in case you haven't and you still have doubts, you want to ask anything to our expert, then you can dial into our toll-free numbers and you can send your queries to our official email ID too. Thank you, Dr. Felix, for sharing and demonstrating such a useful tool with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure, and I'm so thankful to you for calling me. And it's it's basically a privilege to be part of the Government of India mission, like NCERT. My best wishes for your channel and this kind of programs.
Thank you, Dr. Felix.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we will have again 8 live session. Details I'll share with you. From 11 to 11:30, we'll talk on Sawalo Ka Pitara for class 1st. From 11:30 to 12 noon on teaching of poetry for class 4. 12 noon to 12:30 go green for class 3rd, and 12:30 to 1 shapes and figures for class 3rd. 2 to 2:30 learning language in context, and 2:30 to 3 p.m. rational numbers for class 8. 3 to 3:30 p.m. market around us for class 7, and 3:30 to 4 p.m. motion and time for class 7. And the last session will be 4 to 5 p.m. on Google Hangout Meets for education. Also, you can check out our Facebook page, NCERT Official, for such information. Now I'm Shilpa signing off. Till then, take care and keep watching Kishore Munch.